You doing okay there, little buddy? You doing okay? Shadow and I are driving to the lowest spot in the state of Utah. The very lowest spot, 2,179 feet above sea level. And if you think about it, that's still pretty darn high, 2,179 feet. It's right down this road, about 5 more miles, the bottom of that gorge down there, that wash. We'll tell you why we're going there. We'll tell you about it, but we got to get there. Let's get moving. Well, we made it. We're standing right here on the lowest spot in the state of Utah, 2,179 feet. And the amazing thing is that the highest peak in Utah, Kings Peak, way up north, is around 13,500 feet. I can't remember exactly. I'll put it below, but it's approximately 13,500 feet. That's a big difference, from 13,500 down to 2,179. So why would we want to come here? Well, because this is the Beaver Dam Wash, and it flows down for hundreds of miles and lots of rivers flowing into it. It's dry at the moment, although there may be some water right over there. But when it floods and it rushes down. And what does it bring with it? Rocks. And this whole area is rich with sedimentary rock from ancient seabeds, volcanic activity that occurred all around here, tectonic plate forces, all of which lend themselves to the kind of areas where you're likely to find some really cool rocks. In addition to that, all those mountains way up there, all of them are rich in minerals. So we're talking millions of years of water flowing down here and bringing with it who knows what. So we don't know what we may find because it won't have originated here. It will have come from many miles away. But I am certain we'll find some interesting rocks. What kind? Well, let's find out. So I'm finding a lot of this, and I think it's just tumbled quartz. That's what it is. Tumbled quartz. There's another piece right there. Because there's a lot of quartz up there in those mountains. And this is obviously quartz, and it's just been kind of tumbled and weathered. Okay, so again, quartz, but this has got, red mixed in with it. It's kind of cool. Let's take it. It might even be more of an agate. It looks microcrystalline there in the middle. Okay, we'll take it. We'll figure it out. So this one here, again, quartz, but you can really see the quartz crystals in there. What do you think, Shadow? You are the good little rock hound. Find us a Jasper. See if you can find us a Jasper. Go for it. Another very interesting thing about the Beaver Dam Wash is this is where 3 geologic regions converge. You have the Mojave Desert, which we're on the very edge of that. You saw us driving through the Joshua trees. You don't see any right here because this place floods right here, but those are Joshua trees up there on the top of that hillside over there. This is the very northeastern edge of the Mojave Desert. Then you have the Colorado Plateau, which is east of us. And then you have the Great Basin, which is north of us, and they all converge right around this area. So you get converging weather patterns, you get converging bird migration patterns. A lot of birders, or whatever they're called, that like to watch birds, come to this area during migration times to watch for the birds. There's so many different kinds that come through here. The weather is extremely difficult to forecast. They get it wrong all the time because it's just so unpredictable. And then back to the rocks, tectonic forces converge here. You've got sedimentary rock, volcanic activity. All lends itself to the creation of all kinds of cool rocks and bringing forth from the earth a lot of very valuable minerals. So, I know further up it's a little less sandy, and you can, it's a lot more rocky, so you're seeing a lot more rocks. And I think we're going to drive up there. I'm a little concerned. Getting here wasn't that big of a deal, but this is really sandy. I brought the Subaru today, which is four-wheel drive, but I could have brought my big truck with the camper on it, which has great big wheels, and I don't worry about it in the sand. But the Subaru, let's give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, like, there's nobody out here. I got cell coverage, though. I have good cell coverage. I can always call my son to come rescue me if I have to. That would be a little embarrassing, but I've done it before. Okay, I came up as far as I dare. This is really deep sand, and I don't want to get stuck. And I know how to get up further by going all the way around, but I'm afraid we'll run out of daylight. So we're just going to stop right here. It all comes down from the same place anyway. It's just up further. I know I've been up further before, and you can, there's less sand and more rock, but same kind of rock. So we're going to rockhound around here. And then this super green right here. Let's take that back and test it. Very curious about that. There's a lot of it in this wash. I'd like to know for sure what we're dealing with. So this is volcanic, and I'd like to know, I see a lot of it up here. I'd like to know what makes it so orange. Really bright orange. Let's see if we can take it home and figure that out. We've got our homework cut out for us. Some more of that orange volcanic rock right there. And some is a little more yellow than others, and some is a little brighter orange than others, but it's really cool. That is not sandstone. That is sandstone. Okay guys, this area tests my geologic limits. I am not a professional geologist. I took one geology course in college, loved it, continued to study it on my own. I'm an amateur rock hound. If any of you have any comments though, ideas, suggestions, something that maybe I'm misidentifying or don't know what it is and you know, please leave a comment. I learn as much from comments as I'm sure viewers learn from me, and we all learn from each other. So leave comments, we can all learn together. I think this is just interesting. It just looks like a worn piece of basalt with a quartz vein. That looks like quartz right there. And it's just all worn off, worn down in the river. I wish I could chip that out. I'm going to try. I don't think so. That is hard. I'm hitting it right too. That is not going to budge. I wonder if I broke the rock. I'm going to try. We're going to take this back and test it. I was able to break it. See that? And look at all that glistening. I no longer think that that is a piece of basalt. I think that's a piece of dolomite. And that's pyrite in there. And I want to know what that is. Kind of like growth on it. Just curious, you know. None of this stuff is stuff I'd probably ever display. I'm just curious. Well, as is often the case, at the very end of the day, when I thought, okay, I'm going to go home, I'll just look for another minute or two, and I found some really good stuff. This whole section right here has interesting stuff in it, and I'll show you a few. I didn't dig them up. Okay, here's number one. Look at that. That's all Jasper and agate in there. That's a beautiful piece right there. That will slab up beautifully. That is really gorgeous. You know, I'll go clean that up and we'll take a better look at this. And then I saw a couple other little things. Let me see if I can re-find them. I got distracted by a phone call. I actually have cell coverage here. Another one of those super red volcanic rocks, orange volcanic rocks. Okay, I know I saw a couple other things. Let me find them. I thought this was interesting. You know, it's just interesting. How was it formed? What is this and what is that? Let's take it and test it, figure it out. And there we go. A jasper, a really beautiful jasper. Gorgeous jasper. We'll clean this up. We'll take this home. That's a beautiful jasper. So, you know, like I said, if you can imagine it, it's probably going to be in this wash. It's not consistent because it comes from hundreds of miles away. But if you just spend time meandering through and looking around, you'll find, I have found other things. I'll show you another really beautiful crystal that I found here when we're back in the Laboooratory. But you just never know what you're going to find in this wash. I just hope I can get out of here. This sand, I was moving pretty fast, and I wasn't going to stop. And I didn't want to go up any higher because I didn't want to get stuck. And then I saw a spot. There goes Shadow digging a hole. I saw a spot. What is he doing? I think he's hot. It's January 1st, by the way. It's January 1st. It's winter. I'd say it's about 55 degrees, maybe up to 60 here in this wash. But anyway, as I was saying, I didn't want to get stuck, and then I saw that little open spot, and it was hard packed. So you can see my tracks. I just veered into there, and I'm just going to do little backups and ins and outs and back it in and back it in until I'm turned around, and then I'm going to jet out of here. Well, we made our way out of the wash, way down there, so we don't have to worry about getting stuck, and the road is good now. And every now and then I'll just slow down and just kind of look. I'll slow way down and just look at the side of the road, and I found this beautiful jasper that is quite heavy too. I think there might be hematite in it. I think it might be a hematite jasper. We'll clean it up and we'll check it out. Shadow, really? What are you doing? What's in there? What are you digging for? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're ridiculous. There's no stopping him. So what we're walking on right here is the alluvial fan from these mountains. All the flow, you know, the erosion from wind and water has flowed down from those mountains over the many, many, many years, and we are on the alluvial fan. So everything you see here originated up there. That's a beautiful rock right there. It all originated up there. And there's a lot of minerals up there. A lot of mines up there. And then there's always the Joshua trees. They are the most Dr. Seuss looking tree on earth. Come here, little buddy. Come here. All right, off we go. Welcome to the Laboooratory. We brought a lot of rocks back with us from the lowest spot in the state of Utah, and we had questions about some of them. I've slabbed several of them, and some of them that I slabbed were a lot nicer than I thought they were going to be. And I did a little research and a little testing. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know sometimes we do hardness testing by scratching. Sometimes we'll streak test. Sometimes we'll look under a microscope. I now have a digital microscope that's kind of cool. And sometimes we'll use hydrochloric acid to try to figure out what something is. This time we're going to keep it really simple. I did additional research. If you remember from the video, we found this rock right here. And I wanted to know what that is and what that is. Well, this is gneiss. G-N-E-I-S-S. Gneiss. And that, if you Google it, you will find some examples, images of gneiss that look just about like that. Layered, alternating, metamorphic bands of different minerals. All right, then, this rock here, a little bit wet. I said I thought it was a hematite jasper, and I'm sticking to it. I have found hematite jasper. It tumbles up beautifully, and it's mildly attracted to a magnet. So if you look over here, you'll see this has an attraction. See, I'm able to move it with my magnet. It's not like jumping out and clinging to it, but it is mildly attracted to the magnet. So I can get that thing to start swinging around with my rare earth magnet, which is a powerful magnet. And then you'll recall this rock here that's very green. I wanted to know what it is. Well, it's basalt. And it's basalt that's got magnetite in it. And it too, because of the magnetite, will respond to the magnet. So you can see I can get it to go start rocking. It's not super strong, but that's what that is. That's a chunk of basalt, nothing more, with the magnetite in it. And then this beautiful jasper that I found, really slabbed up. It always looks a little better when you just get it wet, just a little bit wet. Really slabbed up, just beautifully. Really, really happy with that. And that's a very, very nice agate. And then we found this jasper slash agate. It's kind of a combination of both. That slabbed up beautifully as well. Really happy with that. And then some of this stuff I was saying, it just looks like, you know, tumbled quartz or something. But it was all pretty much in the same family, and it's not just tumbled quartz. There's all kinds of stuff going on in there. There's all kinds of silica-based Chalcedony, if you want to call it, agate, if you want to call it. some quartz crystals in there. There's all kinds of stuff going on in there, but it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. So, you know, you never know until you slice something open what exactly it is you're going to see. And then did I show you? Then we had this rock right here. You'll recall I was wondering, first I thought this was a basalt, then I thought it might be dolomite. And so dolomite is in the limestone family. Often has pyrite in it, and there was a lot of glistening and so forth. But you know what? I think it's just a piece of limestone, and I'll tell you why. When I put a drop of hydrochloric acid on this thing, it fizzed like crazy. This is limestone. But this here, that is, in fact, a silica-based quartz. So it's, well, quartz is silica, but it's crystallized. So somehow there was a pocket in this limestone, and silica leached its way into there and formed this chunk of quartz. Looks kind of like a tumor growing on it, but that's what that is. So I was curious about it, and sometimes, you know, we're just curious. We just want to learn. I'll end up taking these things back and returning them to nature, but we learned something, didn't we? And this is a rock I found about a year ago in that Beaver Dam Wash, and it's just, if you see the Chalcedony banding along here, but then you get inside there, it's loaded up with crystals, quartz crystals. It's just a beautiful rock. Brought it home, thought it was cool. But the agates and jaspers are gorgeous, and I'll probably slice this up a few more times and throw it in the tumbler, and it will tumble up beautifully. So there you have it, the lowest spot in the state of Utah, Beaver Dam Wash. You never know what you're going to find because things come from many miles away. And on this particular trip, and we were only there for a few hours, we found some pretty cool stuff. Shadow and I had a lot of fun having you come along with us, and we hope you join us on future adventures of Shadow.